Welcome back and let's get right to story number 1. Opie writes, I, 30 female, am getting married in about a month to my best friend, 35 male. I did not grow up knowing my dad, 55 male, very well, as him and my mom divorced when I was an infant. He remarried and had several kids with his new wife, who hates my very existence. There were a lot of hurtful things done when I was growing up, like not being allowed in her house when I visited, that led to me being estranged from my father. He never really made much of an effort, but after I was 18, I completely cut him off for my mental health and stopped answering the few calls he attempted. He tried to get into contact every once in a while over the years, but I honestly just ignored him. I was hurt and angry. About a year ago, I got back into contact with some extended family on his side and have been forging a good bond with all of them. I invited them all to our wedding and they have been amazing. Eventually, I started speaking with my dad as well, back around Christmas. And it was tense at first, but I decided to just give him a chance. We have slowly been getting a semblance of a relationship back, and I saw him in person with my fiancé a couple of months ago. His wife is not pleased at all, and apparently their kids, my half-siblings, all adults, are also upset about it. I think there were threats of divorce, but my dad still decided to go to my wedding. After a ton of thought, I asked my dad if he wanted to walk me down the aisle, as I have been hopeful for a better relationship, but he turned me down. I wouldn't be as upset if he gave a generic excuse, but he told me his wife and other daughter requested he does not walk me down the aisle, as that is reserved for his other daughter and not me. I am super hurt and not even sure what to reply to that with. He offered to stand at the front and give me away instead. But that isn't what I want. My fiancé thinks we should uninvite him and move on, but I'm not sure if that is the best course of action. He is coming from out of state with the rest of the family, so he already bought a plane ticket and hotel room. Part of me thinks to just politely turn him down, have him as a regular guest, then just stop talking to him again after the wedding. My mom isn't coming to my wedding because she lives really far away, so I don't really have any other immediate family coming. I'm not sure what the best course of action is, and the wedding is getting super close, so I have to make a decision soon. Edit. Wow, this post has blown up. Thank you all so much for the advice and comforting words. To answer some common questions I'm seeing, no, his wife and my half-siblings are not attending the wedding. I invited them, but they won't even meet me, let alone go to the wedding. He has 2 sons and a daughter with this new wife, all in their 20s. I am not sure if my dad cheated on my mom with my stepmom. My mom, through all her faults, never actually said a bad word about him. He did marry my stepmom by the time I was 2 years old though, so there wasn't much time in between marriages. They are all very Christian in the worst way, as in they don't really follow what they claim to believe. My mom cannot fly as she has panic attacks. She also is actually a worse parent than my dad in a lot of ways, believe it or not. I have no male relatives to walk me down the aisle. I also never wanted him to give me away, as I think that is dumb. I just wanted my dad to act like my dad for one moment. My fiancé and I have decided to walk down the aisle together as one of you suggested. So that part is settled. I'll update everyone once I decide what to do and if there is any response. Well, 4 months later, there is an update from Opie. Hello everyone. Just wanted to start by saying thank you so much for your kind words and advice to my original post. It made me feel so much better. We had an amazing wedding and honeymoon. Everything went really well. My husband wants to thank everyone who said some form of listen to your fiancé. Ha ha. I'll start with what happened right after my 30 female last post. I did uninvite my dad, 50 male, from our wedding. The whole interaction was too hurtful to let go of. Before telling him I was uninviting him, I spoke with my aunt, his sister, Sandy, 50-ish female, who was furious at her brother for what he said to me. She has been such a great support to me and my husband, which has been amazing, honestly. After I sent my dad an email detailing how hurtful he had been and that he was uninvited, Sandy called him and yelled at him for being an ass. He replied to my email with a bunch of nonsense, deflection about how he has to make sure both sides are happy, but apparently told Sandy not me. He was sorry and that it was a miscommunication. He claims to Sandy that he was only trying to negotiate with me and that he would have walked me down the aisle if that was what I really wanted. I highly doubt that. My mother-in-law, who is extremely conservative and religious, actually said my dad needed to grow some balls, which shocked literally everyone. Ha ha. I replied to him that I stood firm in my decision to uninvite and to not contact me again until after the wedding. But if he did contact me at all, it better be with the understanding that he needs to be present in my life the same way he is his other kids. Otherwise, do not reach out again. Around this time, right before the wedding, I called my mom and asked her about what really happened with her and my dad when I was a baby, because she would never talk about it with me growing up. Unlike my dad and stepmom, my mom never once said anything bad about my dad to me. She was always neutral/positive about him, which I have since thanked her for, as it let me come to my own conclusion about what a deadbeat he is. My mom and I had a good cry about everything, and she let me know how abusive and awful my dad was to her when I was a baby after they split up. I also found out that he married his new wife when I was less than a year old, which is insane considering my parents were still 100% together the day I was born. Sandy swears up and down that she introduced my dad and stepmom to each other after my parents split, as they, stepmom and Sandy, were classmates in college. I don't really care either way at this point. It is just interesting to see how no one has a clear idea of what happened. My thought is that they were cheating and then used Sandy to introduce them to cover up their behavior. Keep in mind they are all very Christian, even though they clearly don't follow any of their religious teachings. I didn't hear anything from my dad during the wedding, and Sandy and her family still came. We all had a blast and everyone was happy for us. The pictures turned out great, and there isn't anyone in them that I wish I could Photoshop out. So I definitely knew uninviting my dad ended up being the best decision we could make. I talked to Sandy about my dad over the holidays, and she said that him and his wife, kids, were refusing to go to any family dinners or parties because they are upset that everyone else talks to me. I have been in regular contact with Sandy, my Uncle Jerry, and all of their kids, which makes my stepmom feel betrayed. Sandy is pissed at her because they used to be friends, but never understood what her issue was with me. I found out my stepmom treated me like crap the second she had her first kid, when I was still a toddler, which probably doesn't surprise anyone. I didn't hear from my dad all through December, but finally in late January I got a random email from him. He sent a long email blaming me for him not being in my life, telling me his wife and kids are more important, but that we need to still be in each other's lives. It was the most BS email he had sent me so far, and completely disregarded my wishes back in October when I told him to not contact me unless he was going to treat me like his actual child. I ended up not responding and just blocked his email. I also told Sandy to not share any of the pictures or videos from the wedding with him, and to not talk about me with him. I think this will be the end of the relationship with him, since he clearly is incapable of being a parent to me. I feel a lot more at peace with everything that happened, and I'm completely okay with how it all turned out. One commenter on my original post said something along the lines of not knowing if my dad would have been a bad parent since he wasn't around, and that really has stuck with me. Thinking about it now, he probably would have been even worse had he actually been in my life. Unfortunately, both my parents are emotionally stunted, but I made a good use of the life that was handed to me, and will hopefully break the cycle with my own kids one day. I didn't mention in my last post that my husband and I are going to be moving to the same state as my family in the next year. I was worried at first being closer to my dad, but honestly, he and his bitter wife and kids can do whatever they want. I'm just going to live my life how I want to. We were planning on moving to this state before I ever got back in contact with my family, so we will continue to do what is best for us. Anyway, thank you again, kind Redditors. You really helped me not feel sad or upset for my wedding day. Good for you that you're moving past this and that you're going to do what is right for you without always considering what is your father thinking, what is his wife thinking, and your half-siblings. And I think it's wonderful that you have contact with the rest of his side of the family and that you get along with them. As for your stepmom, I think she really needs to grow up. I don't understand this attitude that some people have where they are angry at their spouse for having a life before them. It's no use taking it out on the children. And on to story number 2. Opie writes, a bit of background. I'm a 29-year-old man who met my girlfriend, a 27-year-old woman, when we both moved to a new town for work about a year ago. We hit it off right away and have been together ever since. Her family is Portuguese, and from the beginning I've made efforts to be involved and get to know them despite the language barrier. I've met her family several times, and on the surface they've always been nothing but welcoming and nice to me. However, they have a habit of speaking Portuguese around me, which I initially didn't mind because I understood it was their first language and it made them comfortable. Wanting to connect with them on a deeper level and surprise my girlfriend, I recently began learning Portuguese. At a recent family dinner, my new language skills unexpectedly revealed a hurtful reality. As I listened, I realized they were talking about me in derogatory terms, calling me dumb, among other insults, right in front of me, all while smiling and acting friendly. From what I've gathered, my girlfriend understands what's being said, but doesn't seem to join in on the insults. However, she hasn't done anything to stop it either, occasionally trying to hide her reactions or sniggers. I feel betrayed and humiliated, and am questioning the integrity of our relationship and her loyalty to me. I'm at a crossroads and unsure how to address this situation. Confronting her family directly seems daunting, especially considering the language barrier and not wanting to cause a rift. However, I also feel that I can't simply ignore such disrespect, and I'm concerned about what this means for the future of our relationship, especially if we were to have a family of our own. Should I confront my girlfriend about her family's behavior and express how hurtful it is to me? How can I navigate this situation in a way that respects my relationship with her, but also stands up for myself? Any insights, experiences, or suggestions would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. And here's Opie's update. Quick summary. I previously shared how I discovered my girlfriend's family, who is Portuguese, was making racist and derogatory remarks about me in Portuguese, thinking I couldn't understand them. Despite them being outwardly nice, this discovery was deeply hurtful, especially as my girlfriend seemed aware but did nothing to stop it. Update. This past Sunday, we visited her family again. And not surprisingly, the pattern of rude comments continued. This time they called me dumb, among other things, and everyone laughed. I laughed along with them and then asked them to pass the salad, in Portuguese. I could see the awareness and embarrassment spreading across the table one by one. I guess you don't make friends with salad. The dinner that followed was inevitably awkward. No one made a scene, but the atmosphere was tense. On the way home, I told my girlfriend that I wanted to break up. To my surprise, she didn't even ask why, which only confirmed my decision was the right one. Given that we both moved to this town for work and were living in a company-supplied rental, I reached out to the HR department to explain my situation. They were understanding and agreed to arrange a separate place for me. In the meantime, I'm staying at a hotel until everything is sorted out. I honestly feel empty about it now, empty inside. It's been a roller coaster, and now there's sort of nothing. Maybe I will feel better tomorrow. Well, Opie, after a whole year of, you said almost a year of being with your girlfriend, of course it's hurtful, of course it's upsetting, and you say maybe you will feel better tomorrow. Look, it's going to take longer than a day to get over this. But just remember that by breaking up with her, you were loyal to yourself. I mean, you really would have been betraying yourself in a way. There's somebody out there that will appreciate you and the love you have to offer. It's not this person. Well, that's it for this edition of Wow Drama Stories. Thank you for joining me. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, leave me a comment, and I'll see you again very soon. Take care of yourself. Bye.